raised in Tehran and immigrated with her family to the United States at the start of the 1979 revolution. She is now a Middle East Institute adjunct fellow. Nazee, always good to have you with us. Thank you for being here. Do you think there's any chance that there is any negotiation, or is it full speed ahead for this 8 o'clock infrastructure attack?
Well, I think we're going to see somewhere in between the two options. I think the negotiations are wrapping up or have wrapped up already. I heard from some of my counterparts that the Iranian interlocutors got up and felt, you know, this is our war, we're going to win, and they walked away. But about the 5-hour deadline that we have 5 hours to get to, this is how escalatory patterns happen. United States wants to assume the escalation dominance, which it had, but then the Strait of Hormuz was closed, and then it's back to the Trump administration to be able to telegraph some kind of a threat that make the straits open. I can't see, aside from the fact that there's a lot to unpack in what the president posted this morning at 8 a.m., that the whole civilization will die. I can't imagine a scenario where the president say the Iranian people that needed to have their own freedom, that they're brilliant, they're resourceful, and he's had great experiences with them. They are the ones that will pay the price for the regime's absurdities and murders. This might have been a conflation between the regime and the Iranian people. Unfortunately, he didn't make that distinction. I would have loved to see we're going to kill the Iranian regime, or it's the end of the Iranian regime in that post, rather than the Iranian civilization. After all, the civilization is what makes this country so great, and the president has said that himself. Nevertheless, this is a target-rich country. The IRGC has literally turned Iran into a military compound. I get tweets or messages from my colleagues or friends from Tehran and Shiraz every morning that we didn't even know that there is an ammunition depot 5 blocks down from us, or we didn't know there's a missile underground a few blocks away. So they have been living in a military compound for the past 47 years. And we were unaware, and so were the Iranians themselves. And I can't imagine, and if we go down the line of women and children that are wrapping themselves around the power plants, I can't imagine to find any regime opponents in that line. These are people that create the base of the regime, that are loyalists to the regime. Women and children, again, this is another tool that the regime is using in its toolbox. It's called the baby bumper scenario, where you literally wrap a baby to your front and back bumpers to create a safe zone for your adventurers. And then that should deter the Americans. But none of that is going to mean anything when the 8 o'clock hour strikes.
So this is President Trump yesterday talking about exactly what you just referred to. Let's play number 3.
Why would they want you to blow up their infrastructure, to cut off their power? Wouldn't that be punishing Iranians for the actions of the regime?
They would be willing to, and it's suffering, they would be willing to suffer that in order to have freedom.
Do you agree?
Yes, I do agree that Iranians will be willing to suffer, but they are not willing to annihilate themselves for the regime. And they're not thinking that the president will do that. I've spoken to some of the people that have crossed Armenia to take planes away from Iran, and most of them, almost all of them, have been supportive of President's actions and Bibi Netanyahu's actions. They know that the attacks have not meant to punish the Iranian people. They're aware that this is a fight for their freedom also. So I don't know what the president meant. We said we're annihilating an entire civilization, but I don't think that's the case.
Yeah. Well, the president has not pulled any punches with his very strong language aimed, I believe, at this regime. He wants them to give up. I think in war, as you just have given us a great lesson about some of these dynamics, you need capitulation. And I think he wants capitulation on the part of this leadership.
And I have come to believe, on the heels of the victory of rescuing our pilots, and then now good news that Shelley is released in Iraq by Kataib al-Hezbollah, I think pressure works on the Iranian regime. How much pressure and until when, that's when we need to be patient.
Okay, Nazee Moinian, thank you very much.
Thank you
Always
for
good to
having
see
me.
you.
Thank you.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.